the O&M, or operations and maintenance manual, as it's called, is the most talked about and complicated document that we put together for our projects. And we literally finished up a project last year. It was a basement remodel in a brownstone in Boston, and we just finished the O&M. Not because it took us a year to put together, but it was just like it was just a complicated process. So for us, small project, but there's a lot of information, and exactly what you said, like we dropped the ball on that. Client reached out, was like, "Hey, it's been a while. Like, when am I going to get this document?" And kudos to our APM on our team. He put it together and sent it out last week, and they're like, "Thank you so much. Nice to have all this information in one spot finally." And it's a robust document. It's hundreds of pages long. It's got all the information. And frankly, they'll probably scan through it one time and maybe refer back to it every so often, depending on what information they need. But to your point, that I think while they don't need that information, I think the reason that I find it to be so important is that, number one, the information exists in one spot. So yes, they can reference it, but it's also so we can reference it. So like if they have an issue, we can come back and flip through this book and find the information, and oftentimes address the issue maybe remotely. Like right now, right before we hopped on this podcast, my electrician's headed to their project to address their snow melt system because they don't think it's working, or it wasn't working when it snowed the other day. So, but there's a lot of information. Like we were reading through the documents, and we were getting information from the client to make sure that it wasn't a software issue, it wasn't accidentally tripped, it wasn't the sensor was correct, because we could reference the information because we knew where it was. Having all that information in one spot is really beneficial to us internally. But from the client's perspective, one of the things that we are really trying to do is be able to hand over this document the moment we finish the job.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by, collecting and developing the O&M as we're building, which is done through like submittals and like ripping the data out of it. And ultimately, like knowing what information needs to be in it. And this is where we've sat down as a team. I can't even tell you how many, like dozens of times. Like, should this be in it? Yes, no, maybe. Why? Like, why should it be? And there's actually a lot of softwares out there that are either simplifying this or trying to simplify this. But at the end of the day, like from us, we have a big PDF. It's all tabbed, so you can click on the table of contents. It brings you to the section. You can read what it is, and then I send that to a printing company, and they print 3 copies, and 1 goes to the client, and 2 sit in the office here. And it's just like, frankly, like the hard paper copy is just nice, where you can reference it, like if you're not on a computer, or if you want to bring, like, it goes with my tech out to the site, like he just can flip through it.
I mean, just think of it from a maintenance perspective. Even the job I'm on now, right? We replaced in a door, and it went into an existing opening, but the door is slight size different. So by the time we cased it out, it was slightly smaller. So I had to spackle the wall, touch it up, and just knowing what type of paint we painted and what finish, and like the upstairs, she's like, "Well, you're here patching stuff. Let's do a patch upstairs." So then it's going down to the basement, trying to figure out what was what when we use. And it's like, if you have all of that information, it doesn't necessarily, like, I think that the golden ticket may be, like you said, creating this document for yourself, and then maybe providing your client with all of that information, but then distilling it down to the cliff notes of what they more than likely need. Do they need to understand the specs of their furnace and their heating system? Probably not. They can have them. But what are just some of the general things, like when you have your HVAC sub there, what should my client understand with this system? If they see a typical code, how often should they be changing the filters? What type of filters? Just to be able to hand that over. Like, you should be getting that information from them, just to make sure that they understand when there is an issue, what they need to do to fix it, and when they should just call you.
I think I think that that's a good first step. The way here's a great use for AI. So you get the furnace, you have the specs, you pull up all the documents for the furnace in the home. We put it into I'll put it into chat and say, I want you to read through all of these documents and list all the maintenance requirements for this furnace and the cadence in which that maintenance needs to be done to make sure that we can maintain the warranty on the equipment.
Yeah.
And so this is a great one for appliances because if you ever read through a Sub-Zero, spec book, it's hundreds of pages of just like the same, like they basically put all of their models in one book. So it's like, this is the model I have, pull all the pertinent information out of it, and we'll take that and that will be what goes into the O&M in terms of like what the client needs to understand. So for us, like, yes, that information lives, in a document. They have it, they understand who to call, what to do, how to deal with this stuff. But we do a post-construction service, which is our home care program. And while we're putting the O&M together, we will also put together a maintenance schedule. So when we're getting like, hey, Sub-Zero needs to have the filter vacuumed off every 6 months and a water filter replaced every 3 months, whatever, like all of that information will go in a list. And then we build a maintenance schedule for the home, which can be hundreds of items.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like we want to maintain the warranty on this stuff. And we also want to make sure that we don't risk them damaging something. Wood floors is a great example. It's like, hey, you always get the question like, what can I clean? Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Some clients are like, what can
I
I
always
clean?
I buy them what they need.
Yeah, like, but then it runs out, and then they're calling you again. So we have that in there. It's like, hey, here's your floor finish. It's a approved sample. It's white oak. It's got provincial stain on it by Minwax, and it's got Loba, and it's got this sealer and 2 coats of clear coat on top. Like that's narrated, and then here's how you clean the floor, and do not use Murphy's oil soap. Sorry, Murphy's, but like that shit has always been a bigger issue than it's caused good. But we'll have all of that in there so they can always reference what they need to maintain that without damaging it. Also, it's also a protection for us where it's like, you didn't tell me I couldn't use that. I'm like, I did. Just kind of like when you buy your car and there's this book in your glove box and it tells you to, change your oil and you didn't change your oil, or, not only that, but, there's a whole other side of something that we're building in terms of like the whole dashboard where it's like, it used to be in the book of like when to change your oil. And then they add the sticker on your windshield so you wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
And now you don't need any of that. It just says on your dash, like time to change your oil.
Yeah.
And like for us, that's kind of our next step in terms of the post-construction is being like having all of this built in a way that notifies the client like, hey, your boiler needs to be descaled today.
Yeah. I also think that it would be important the way that I would structure this, because for me it's just one-off for each project and I'm not doing full builds, so it's typically pretty manageable. If I do a bathroom, it's like, what type of material do we have in there, what they should expect, what they can clean with. It's pretty straightforward. But for me, I would have a generic outline. I would have I think mostly it's going to fall into your general conditions of your contract, what they can expect, just something that can serve as a template for each project, and then have your specifics for those projects as well. But then be able, if you have that outline, constantly be reiterating that and adding to it. Like GFIs, where are all their GFCIs in the house so that you can avoid when they trip a GFCI that something's not working for them, right? Where it's like, well, here where all your GFCIs are. So if for some reason there's a circuit that's not working, this is what we're going to have you go look at too. I feel like it'd be so like it would. There's so much information that I think that you'd be able to troubleshoot not being at that home, where it's like, if you understand what their electrical panel looks like and what breakers are what, to be able to have the conversation with them about what's on each breaker, if they have an issue or if something tripped, what they can go look for. is just going to save you so much time. But it's one of those things where like you're going to have to, you can get a template for that and a basis for that, but then you just need to be constantly adding to that for the type of work
Yes.
and jobs that you're doing.